reporters for Idaho's News Channel 7. From Idaho's News Channel 7, this is Viewpoint.
Good morning and welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Joe Paris. The state of Idaho is home to a great collection of public universities and colleges. These institutions are working hard to help shape the future of Idaho, developing leaders, the workforce, culture, and everything that makes Idaho our home. And the state of Idaho has a rich history of education. How about in eastern Idaho? It dates all the way back to the early 1900s. The Academy of Idaho was founded in 1901. The motto upon creation, "The truth will set you free." Great words for an academic institution. And you probably know the former Academy of Idaho by its current name, Idaho State University, based in Pocatello. Idaho State is one of 6 universities in the U.S. offering programs from technical certificates through graduate and professional degrees. In the Carnegie Classified Doctoral Research Institution, it attracts students from around the world to its main campus in Pocatello, and they have locations in Meridian, Idaho Falls, and Twin Falls. The home of Benny the Bengal, Idaho State has 250 programs as well as impressive athletics. And this is the perfect time to bring in our guest for Viewpoint, Idaho State University President Dr. Robert Wagner. He took over in January of this year as the 14th president of ISU. And before heading to Idaho, Dr. Wagner was the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer at Utah State University. Dr. Wagner, President Wagner, thank you so much for joining us here today. A little bit about your background, a very impressive run through education.
Yes, first of all, thank you, Joe. Very, very much appreciate this opportunity to come and talk and really discuss what a fantastic institution Idaho State University is. I feel very, very fortunate to have come to such an outstanding institution. It has been a journey. My life, professional life, in many ways reflects what's happening across the workforce in the state of Idaho and across the country. Where I go to, I went to school, started a career, decided to make a change. I looked towards education to help me make that to change. And all along the way, education was a transformational experience in my own professional career. I started, though, in education at a private institution. And then my wife and I felt like there was perhaps something more. So it was a time to reflect and consider what we might to do with a growing family. And again, we look to education as a way to transform our lives, as a way to help us. So we moved 2,000 miles away from family and friends to pursue a graduate education, and that education provided opportunities for us. Found ourselves all along the way with professional opportunities that came because of that educational experience. Ultimately finding ourselves at Utah State University, where we had a great experience, and I worked with fantastic people, all, I believe, leading me to the point of where I'm at now, building that foundation to where I feel confident and really excited to be able to come to Idaho State University and be able to contribute to its mission and how it's impacting the state of Idaho.
And you worked at Utah State University for more than 15 years. You were very high up in the administration. What is it about Idaho State University and the state of Idaho that attracted you over that soft border from Utah?
Sure. Well, it is a very soft border. Northern Idaho, northern Utah, southeast Idaho. The communities are very similar. Good, hardworking people who are looking to education institutions to make that transformational change. For me, I've spent a good portion of my career within the public sector, realizing just how powerful public higher education can be, the role that it can play in society, the ways that public higher education can serve local communities. When I looked north to Idaho State University, over many years, seeing, again, the tradition, the way that it serves Southeast Idaho, the way that it serves the entire state, how it's known across the country as well for its research, for its creative works. So it wasn't a hard decision for me. Again, I loved Utah State, but when I looked and considered where do I want to go, where do I feel like I can contribute, where do I want to go where I feel like I can believe in the institution and what it is doing? Idaho State University checked all of those boxes.
We're lucky to have you, and you look great in orange.
Oh, well,
you got the orange
you.
everything.
Orange is in my color palette now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go orange and black.
So I guess you moved to Idaho in January, and you start January at the end of January. You go right to the Idaho legislature.
Right.
What a way to start, I guess, your career here in Idaho. What were you finding in your early times here in Idaho, and kind of what sticks out to you over the first run here, I guess, as Idaho State wraps up the semester?
Sure. Well, first of all, I did start my first day was at the Idaho legislature, and I will say that I was warmly greeted there. We have a legislature that believes in higher education. I felt very comfortable there. Now, part of that's because my own educational background is political science. I feel very comfortable walking the halls. I believe in what our legislature does, the role of government and helping and supporting the citizens of the great state of Idaho. So being able to go and advocate for Idaho State University just came natural. And again, it was very, very well received, I believe, by the legislatures, led by the legislators. I think, higher education today, it's taking a bit of a hit. Mm-hmm. I think they're individuals that are people that are questioning the value of higher education. When I go to the legislature, it's an opportunity for me to remind legislators really the importance that public higher education can play within society, the responsibility being a public institution, the responsibilities that we have to be able to serve our communities, to be able to serve the public. So to be able to walk right into that on my first day and say, I'm going to advocate for this institution, but more importantly, I'm going to advocate for higher education, its impact, its role within the state of Idaho, and the good that it serves this great state. That was a very, very easy transition for me to make.
It's a heck of an orientation to go right to the legislature, and you come in at an exciting time with Idaho Launch and a lot of emphasis on continuing education in the state of Idaho. Of course, the governor has clearly made education a top priority. Brings me to my next question. Let's talk about your vision for Idaho State. You co-chair the development of Utah State University's first strategic plan in 20 years. I would imagine that would be a good experience working down at Utah State through that and then bringing it up to ISU. What does your vision look like here in Idaho?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm going to really emphasize an important difference that I see here in the state of Idaho, and that's, as you mentioned, we have a governor. And we have a legislature that believes in higher education, investing in the launch program, which is incredibly important. You take the state's launch program and couple that with Idaho State University's tuition lock program, which helps our students to keep tuition low, to keep it at a moderate level, so that they can afford to earn their degree. It's a great vision that is in this state. And so coming here, realizing that, seeing that, knowing that when I walk the halls of the Capitol, we have a governor who supports education. We have a great body of legislators who would do the same. It's easy for me to then look at our institution and say, okay, what are the roles that we can play? What do we need to do as an institution? I give credit to my predecessor, Kevin Satterley, who helped with a great team at Idaho State University to develop an outstanding strategic plan. I'm not coming to rewrite that book. What I'm doing is say, that's a positive strategic plan. There are great pillars that are in place. The foundation at the institution is strong. What I want to bring are the strategies and the ways that Idaho State University can more effectively serve the estate and serve the specific communities that we are in. So I'll mention a couple things. First of all, it's access. Yeah. As a public institution, we need to be accessible. We need to be able to have 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 35-year-olds, 50-year-olds, all who are looking to education as a way to, again, transform their lives, transform their careers, help them, support them. We need to be the institution that they can come to. We have to be a place where they can easily be able to jump in, get a degree, get a credential, get back out into the workforce, and then if they need or want to more, be able to come back in again. So accessibility, not only in the ease of being able to come into Idaho State University, but then the way that we deliver education, whether it's in person, whether it's online, whether it's in our multiple campuses across the state where we're literally taking education to the communities that we serve. So accessibility is incredibly important, and I want to focus on that. Affordability. As a public institution, we need to be affordable. We need to find ways through scholarships, through, again, taking advantage of the launch program, our tuition lock program, ways that we can continue to make education affordable for whether it's a technology certificate or whether it's a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, whatever the credential might be, finding and helping students to be able to afford to be able to get that really important credentials so that they can better their own lives and better the lives of their family and their community. So accessibility and affordability. We're going to do that. Part of what I do, part of what I want to bring to Idaho State University is we're going to do that by being bold.
Yeah, and that goes really well with the slogan, being bold, up there at Idaho State. We do have to take a real quick break, but when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Idaho State University President Wagner.
This is what Bill calls home, and this is what Janice calls office. And by day, it's the home office. But sometimes, it's the guest room. California Closets designed this space with purpose by listening to Janice and to Bill, whose parents sleep here when they're in town visiting. From here. This is a stapler. Nobody wants to look at a stapler. This is where it goes. This is where Janice gets her energy. This is where Bill gets his. This is Janice's home office and Bill's and the guest room. This is who helped make it happen. Schedule your free design consultation now.
After 25 years in business, Dollar Loan Center is thrilled to be open in Idaho. We offer signature loans up to $5,000 in minutes. No application fees or prepayment penalties, and you only pay interest for the time you have the loan out. As a matter of fact, your first week's worth of interest is on us, just for giving DLC a try. We're here to earn your business, Treasure Valley. Find us or apply online at don'tbebroke.com. It's free to apply, and your first loan is on us.
Meet Clean Boss, the most powerful botanical disinfectant and cleaner in the world. Clean Boss, no harsh chemicals and safe around people and pets. Clean Boss kills COVID-19 virus, cold and flu virus, and RSV. And 99.9% of bacteria, fungus, and mold. Clean Boss, replace bleach, cut grease. Clean Boss goes head-to-head with those toxic cleaners. Wait, how about you get 4 big bottles for every surface in your home? Go to shopcleanboss.com and get Clean Boss now.
Sign up for Idaho's most popular race, St. Luke's Fit 1. Join us at the starting line on September 21st and set your own goal.
5K, 10K, or half marathon.
Sign up on June 5th for just $20, any distance.
And children 12 and under are free with each adult registration.
Every dollar raised is helping children and families live their healthiest lives.
St. Luke's Fit 1.
To learn more, visit the community page at ktvb.com.
Welcome back to Viewpoint, continuing our conversation with Idaho State University President Robert Wagner. Okay, as we went to break, you and I were talking types of students. That's a really big conversation in Idaho, because when you talk about the traditional college student, here in the year 2024, we are well beyond just serving one demographic. For Idaho State, what type of student base are you guys serving?
Well, it's a great question, Joe, and I'm going to get a little personal with this answer. I hope that's okay, but one of the most important things that informs me of how to be an effective president is fatherhood. And my own 5 children that I raised with my wife. Interestingly enough, each of my 5 adult children represent a different segment of the student population that we as an institution, that public higher education needs to serve. I had a son who did go the traditional route, but he was an entrepreneur. He was looking for higher education as a way to network, as a way to learn skills, to be able to communicate, to critical thinking skills. I had a daughter who went to an institution in order to get a professional degree, in order to get licensure within the estate. I had a son who went a couple semesters who was interested in computer programming and decided, you know what, this slow pace is not working. I want to do a 14-week tech boot camp. And he did that, and he's in a great job. I had another son who went a semester and said, you know what, I want to go the tech certificate route. He went to a technical college, became a certified welder, and is supporting his family well. I've got our my daughter. It took me 5 to finally get a child who would major in political science, like I did. She's a good political science major, but now as she's nearing the end of her time, she's looking at internships. She needs real-world experience. Joe, those are all the things that we as an institution need to be doing. You often hear that it's not good to try to be everything to everyone. I don't believe that in higher education. I actually believe that as an institution, we need to be a lot of things. Because we need to serve a lot of different types of students, whether it's the traditional 18-year-old that wants to come to Pocatello, which is a fantastic place, beautiful campus, and have that really immersive experience, or whether it's a non-traditional student like I was, that is working in a career and needs to go part-time. You are working towards a professional degree, you're working towards a graduate degree, you're working towards a certificate. We as an institution need to be prepared for all of those types of students. In our processes and the ways that we help and support those students, I'd liken it to an interstate. As an institution, we need to have on and off ramps all along the way so that students throughout their professional career, throughout their life, can on-ramp on, can get a certificate, can get a degree, can take that off-ramp work, enjoy life, but then they determine they need something else. They need a certificate, they need an endorsement, they need a degree. We need to make it so they can on-ramp right back on again, right back to our institution. That's what we need to do. We need to serve multiple students in multiple ways. Frankly, I see that as a responsibility. It's a responsibility that a public higher education institution has. We can't expect students today in 2024 to come to us and for us to say, you need to be what we need you to be to come here. We need to meet students where they're at. We need to be the institution that says, we're going to serve you wherever you're at in your life, whatever goals, whatever interests you have. That's the responsibility of higher education. That's what Idaho State University is all about.
And we're running short for time, as we always do on this program, so I promise you we would have to have you come back for a part 2 next time you're in town. Quickly though, before we let you go, Idaho State has a footprint not only in Pocatello, but here in the Treasure Valley. I know folks, they drive by Idaho State University off of I-84 and Meridian all the time. What do you think the importance is of having multiple campuses, and as you kind of just talked about, serving multiple populations?
Sure. Well, and our presence in Treasure Valley is incredibly important. I'm so excited about our Meridian campus. Its focus on the health science, the health health sciences, the healthcare needs of the state of Idaho. You know, Joe, we are growing. Yeah. We have an additional 20+ acres at that site where we're going to continue to grow programs specifically to serve Treasure Valley, but that's going to have an impact, and that's going to really spread out across the state. We have an outstanding partnership with the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is on our campus. We help by teaching classes, by providing labs. We have a high school on that campus too, so we really, the vision that we see is the continuum of education from K through 12 to higher ed to professional degrees, health sciences. We want to partner with other institutions within the Treasure Valley too, the College of Western Idaho, the College of Idaho, Boise State University. Those institutions are critical to this area, critical to the state. When we partner at Idaho State University with them, I believe the state of Idaho wins.
Well, we are basically out of time. I did want to ask real quickly, though, this fall, I'm imagining you're excited to probably go to the first football games.
I cannot wait to be inside the ICCU Dome. I've just been told it's a fantastic experience, a lot of energy. We have a great coach. We have a great team. Come on out to Pocatello. Watch this team play, watch it perform, enjoy the students' great energy, and it's inside and out of the weather.
That's perfect. And maybe just to be fair, we'll come out to Pocatello next time to do an interview.
We would welcome you.
Well, we appreciate you guys and your team for traveling out to Boise and just being a part of the graduation week. We do have to go take a break, but again, Dr. President Wagner here from Idaho State University. We're going to recap last week's election, though, just after this break. We'll be right back on Viewpoint.
Dealing with the loss of a loved one and making funeral arrangements at the same time can be very difficult. Planning a funeral in advance can lessen the emotional burden left to those behind.
When pre-planning your own funeral arrangements at Bowman Funeral, you're able to make the decisions of what you want done and help you avoid the rising costs of funeral expenses in the future. Stop by or call Bowman Funeral today to begin your pre-arrangement process.
We are Bowman Funeral.
It's quiet neighborhood shopping Monday through Saturday at Easy Chair Plus and Mattress on Eustic Road in Boise. You'll find a large selection of powerlift recliner chairs in a variety of sizes with multiple features like heat and massage, power adjustable headrest, and lumbar support. Or zero gravity with infinite positions for pain relief and sleeping. Even chairs with 500-pound lift and capacity are available. If you're having surgery anytime soon, plan ahead and consider a new lift chair from Easy Chair Plus and Mattress on Eustic Road in Boise.
From real quality that starts in our factory to real performance in your backyard, Steel tools are as tough and dependable as the people who use them. This Father's Day, give him the gift that's built for Dad. Right now, save $30 on the FS56 RCE gas-powered trimmer and save $20 on the MS-162 gas-powered chainsaw. Real Steel.
A truck that's perfect for the city and outdoor play, plus it has a really rad retro exterior. Check out the 2024 Nissan Frontier on Idaho Today.
Fly on down to Zoo Boise this summer to celebrate the return of butterflies in bloom. Plus, visit all your favorite zoo residents. A portion of your admission goes directly to help protect animals in the wild. So come on down to Zoo Boise.
Idaho wrapped up a major election last week, the May primary. If you missed anything, we have full results at ktvb.com. Boise State political science professor Dr. Jacqueline Kettler has been paying attention to Idaho politics for the past 10 years. It's her specialty, as well as a political parties. She looks into interest groups and campaign finance, which is important considering the heavy amount of finances that were funneled into Idaho by interest groups from outside state borders just for the primary election. Granted, we don't have the final numbers just yet or know how much was spent and how exactly that works out, but we will get those eventually. Still, Boise State's latest public policy survey showed that Idahoans across the board, they thought that the state was heading in the wrong direction. But based on the results from the primary, which direction is the wrong direction? Other than it being a bad day for high percentage of incumbents, it was really a pretty interesting result. Some far-right winners, some mainstream winners, both. So kind of victories across the board, depending on your perspective. But still, a lot of money for us to follow. A lot of it, though, very interesting. And our Brian Holmes reports on the recap.
I think that's a great question. And we do know in research that spending the most money does not guarantee a win. However, so much of this money was spent in independent expenditures in negative type of advertising, whether it was robocalls, mailers, social media ads, television ads, really attacking some of the incumbents. And so I think that's where we have some questions on, well, maybe it didn't play a role in, for example, in Speaker Mike Moyle's race where he was successful, but we also know that Senator Chuck Winder was really attacked. Did that play a role in how voters assessed the candidates in that race and helped his opponent be successful?
Can you remember the last time a sitting Senate pro tem lost an election?
In Idaho, it's been quite a while. I think it's 1988 when then Senator Pro Tem Jim Risch lost, but that was in the general election, not the primary election. Usually, when you're at those top leadership positions in a chamber, you've usually been in office for a while, you're usually pretty safe, you have a lot of resources, but we also know these divisions within the Republican Party are deep here in Idaho, and Senator Winder's been really in the mix of some of these high-profile issue debates. And so I think really did attract a lot of money and other kind of organization in trying to defeat him.
I think in the end of the day, I think voter turnout's going to be like in the mid-20s. How does that change the outcomes?
Well, when you have a lower turnout election, then you tend to get the base that is really motivated and often more ideological that's going to turn out. You know, who's turning out can shape the outcomes of these primary races, especially some of these primary races, it's not a huge number of people, and some of the races were really close, and so who's turning out really matters.
And the turnout statewide did end up being about 24% in Ada County, Idaho's most populous county. Turnout was about 18%. So these numbers, like all the results, they are unofficial until they are certified officially on June 5th. So we, of course, have the preliminary results at ktvb.com. All of this also will head into the November general election. Of course, the primary, you have the inter-party races. So the winners of all the primaries for their respective races, including the legislature, they will all go again coming up in November. And as we get closer and closer to this fall, it'll be interesting to see if there's some highly competitive races in the fall, or if what we saw here in May will essentially be what we see for the election. Either way, though, we know that the Idaho legislature, when they come back in January, they will have a much different complexion depending on your view and your perception of things out there. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's Viewpoint. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, thank you to our friends from Idaho State University for being part of the program. We'll see you next time on Viewpoint.